Hi, Greta and Dave. As you may ascertain from looking at my down coat, it's cold here in Xalapa this morning, Saturday morning, the 30th. Uh, yeah, I've been here 3 months in this area, and I'm planning to leave. My car still has very little braking power. I've gotten awfully good at driving it with almost no brakes. But my plan to leave this mountainous area and drive down to Veracruz is tomorrow morning. Sunday morning early is the safest time to drive this rig and the easiest time to get around Jalapa, which has horrendous traffic. Oh my God, horrendous traffic. Sunday morning early as soon as it gets light, which should be around 7:15, I think. And then stay in Veracruz for at least 2 months. I'm told they have a great um, what's the Brazil version of Mardi Gras? They have a great, the Brazil version of Mardi Gras. So I have one friend to look up there. Pretty exciting person, actually. Amazing woman. Bigger than life, funnier than shit. Mostly Spanish speaking. And there's always been, even though I don't know how happily married. I think her husband provides her great support and adores her for her bigness, even though uh, various various Mexican men in her family like to think of her as crazy, which she is in a way she is, but she's awesome. So Veracruz, I hear the beaches are great, and I'm dying to get back to the beaches after 3 months in Jalapa and the warmth and the sun. And I do have plans, as much as you can call them plans. Loosely, at some point, I will be exploring further south in Central America, Latin America. And I did have a great encounter with a guy from Belize who runs disabled vehicles down to from the U.S. to Belize to sell at a profit. It's a big deal. Where I was in El Diamante for 3 months, the big carretera there, about a third of the vehicles going down that road, or maybe a little less than that, were car and tow, car and tow. Sometimes caravans of several people taking vehicles down there to sell. And I had a great encounter with that guy who culturally, stylistically, was more Detroit than Latin America. And there was appeal to an English-speaking country down here, but the culture of Mexico is what I really love. And a British a place with a British origin is sure not going to have the culture I want or that I adore about Mexico. I don't know if I can get across the border. I have to do a lot of studying about that. What it's going to be like leaving Mexico when I do not have a document saying when I came in, because came in illegally. I think you probably know that story. I've got a valid U.S. passport. I'm telling everybody these days, get the book. Don't get the card. Card. Some places in Mexico, they honestly do not believe that's a passport. It's just the card. The electric stores won't honor it as your documentation to cash a check or anything. My dog, uh, it's to be sad about. I have grieved extensively. I'm going to send you two documents. One was from El Diamante about 10 days after Magic went away, and the other was from up here just a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, where I finally really did my grieving in a 20-minute video in the back of my car waiting for the mechanic to show up. Who know, you don't stage these things. They happen when they're meant to happen. So my grieving isn't completely over, but I absolutely see the hand of God and all that. No way would I have voluntarily let go of that dog, the dog of my dreams, voluntarily. But I did, finally. And it was God, over the course of 10 days, stripped me down to where I was so raw and so vulnerable that when Magic turned badass from the bad influence of the other dog who was traveling with us and started defying me, and I had to make tracks, uh, I didn't intentionally ditch him, but I left him on the side of the road to catch up. Okay, asshole, let's see if you do this one. We're going to give you a hurdle. This time you have to want it. And he didn't want it anymore. He may not even have tried because he was so mad at me. So our relationship got destroyed, which made the grieving even worse in some ways. But I have to be nimble these days. Buses, taxis, women, I have to be willing to go where the energy is, and I cannot possibly accommodate a dog in my life right now. When I get settled, hopefully I will get settled somewhere on the Riviera Maya. So my priorities are to get to the Riviera Maya, spend some number of months exploring it extensively to see where I want to be. I want great beaches. I want a place where I can afford to live in a little house by the beach, on the beach preferably, in between resort areas. And I have two products to sell, coaching products, being with Majo and being in the water with Majo, to people at resorts. So I think I'm going to find somewhere out there, Akumal, Cozumel, where I do have a friend, somewhere. My last great love in Chicago had just come back from Playa del Carmen and christened my beach in Chicago, on Lake Michigan, La Playa del Juan. So who knows? Somewhere out there, I think. And still do a lot of traveling and get to places like Belize and Guatemala. So without a dog, loneliness is still the great cross of my life. And if you ever are seized by the impulse to call me on WhatsApp, or I guess I guess I don't see a preference between WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. They both seem to work good for calls. Have a great trip. Your trip sounds awesome. I admire you for your adventurousness, both in your life back in the Asheville area, where I am a wanted man. Do you know that? Maybe you know that story. Yeah, very kindly, Buncombe County Sheriff lady said to me, well, the thing to do is turn yourself in when you hit Buncombe County. Probably they won't keep you in jail, and they'll give you a court date. I'm also a wanted man. I think this has got me thinking about that. I blew a court date in Texas. Uh, I've been saying that, oh, yeah, the other reason the dog had to be gone was I came to the realization that whatever dog I had, whether it was Pancho or then Magic, was my primary. There was no room for a woman in my life. Neither of them would have liked that much. Uh, and energetically, it just I'm still saying we. I still say we instead of me. Uh, and people still say, well, oh, you're traveling with a partner, and that's what people always assumed. Always got a partner, and kind of I did. So the dog had to be gone. Uh, and when I would tell that story, I'd say the only times that Pancho or Magic wasn't with me was if I was in the hospital or in jail, and the two hospital stints were way more traumatic than the jail time. The first one I was released with no charges in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Yeah, released with no charges after several hours. And Port Isabel, Texas, the magistrate who came in overnight heard our cases like 11 o'clock at night. He says, why, I know you've got no money, but why would I release you on your own recognizance when I know you're going to blow the court date? And I said, no, Your Honor, of course not. I want to be able to come back to Texas, and so I'll keep the court date. But they took forever. I left Texas never having been informed of a court date, and by now I've almost certainly blown that. So I don't know to what. I don't know. I bet there's not an APB on me in Tejas, but and I'm also not legally in Mexico, so if I ever wanted to get back in the U.S., I don't know how easy that would be to do. Okay, adventure. Adventure is the name of the game. Fun, yes. Pain, yes. My big assignment these days is to learn more about the ways of love and intimacy with women, and that's the most dangerous game I've played. Oh man, this recent girl, Marielle, hell hath no fury. When finally I caught on that she wanted me to be her man but didn't want to love me. I said, yeah, okay, I'm going to take you up on your offer to get me a ride back to Xalapa from Cardell, almost to Veracruz. And she cleaned my clock. She started to take me back to Xalapa and then dumped me in Cardell at the town square, stole all my shit, all my clothes, and left me a long ways from Xalapa with no money. And it's a good story how I came through that one smelling like a rose because of a friend. It's good to have friends. My friend Lee sent me $100 and I got a taxi back to Xalapa. Okay, good. Nothing takes the place of real life conversation. I hope we can have one sometime, but you're going to be busy. You're getting ready for your trip now, and then you're on the road. Blessings on your trip, people. Amigos. Mis amigos de los Estados Unidos. Vaya con Dios.